the state of South Dakota have to follow the local zoning regulations just like everyone else.
Neighbors in rural Lincoln County near a proposed prison site filed a lawsuit asking that very question. A circuit judge said no and dismissed the case. Neighbors filed an appeal, and today the question went to the state Supreme Court.
KELOLAND's Dan Santella takes a closer look at both sides of the case.
Justice Mark Salter highlighted how neighbors in the case are seeking due process.
It's a claim to subject the state to the zoning regulations of Lincoln County, which would require this use, which would be non-conforming in this area, to pursue authority either through a conditional use permit or an application to rezone. So maybe that's indirect, but still I think the fact remains that this isn't a direct action to stop the state dead in its tracks from building a prison.
And A.J. Swanson, who represents neighbors who live near the proposed site, concurs.
Justice Salter, I think you were exactly correct in saying that the entire tenor of our complaint is a plea for due process.
Grant Flynn, who argued the state's case, also agreed with Salter. But zoning, he says, can't inhibit the state here.
The construction, maintenance, and operation of a prison constitutes an essential governmental function. And this court has held that such an essential function cannot be obstructed by local zoning laws. The circuit court found in favor of appellees on these issues, and we respectfully request that this court affirm that decision.
Just like the question of where the new men's prison will be located, this case is also still undecided.
The state had no obligation to follow, to seek a conditional use permit or anything of that nature based on the common law and based on this court's adoption thereof.
To say that their interest in having the right to a hearing when there's going to be such a major, potentially catastrophic change in use and operation of the Widow Haug's former farm, that the due process interests mean nothing to the state, quite frankly, is startling.
Dan Santella.
Thank you.
KELOLAND.
Welcome all of you this morning to the court.
The Supreme Court will issue a ruling at a later date. A legislative effort to appropriate money to build the new men's prison in Lincoln County failed last month. KELOLAND News recently asked South Dakota Governor Larry Roden if that site between Harrisburg and Canton remains the administration's preference. Roden said, quote, anything is possible. The governor's Project Prison Reset Task Force will meet for the first time next week.